What's going on, guys? Johnny here. Want to do one more video before I go to bed. All right. So first of all, I just want to say it's Tuesday. We're not halfway through the week yet. It's really only day 2. I don't know about y'all, but it's been a day, right? But you gotta persevere. You gotta keep going. So so today, I thought today was a good day because I saw a girl on Facebook and she had some dire messages, and I mean, I don't really know her, but on her story, it says, "I'm hurting, period." And then I saw another girl that I really knew, and her message was "I'm doing better today, but I have to stand on truth." So it seems like today, a lot of people have been going through it. And even myself, I too, got some news today that was a little stressful, but I had to hone myself in, I had to remember who I was. I had to encourage myself. And not every time when you encourage yourself does it always make the heaviness go away, but you got to keep doing it. You got to work the process, right? So I thought it'd be a good day to read Luke 14. And it says, as massive crowds, Luke 14 from 25 to probably 35. It says 10 verses. Bear with me. All right, so it goes, as massive crowds followed Jesus, he turned to them and said, when you follow me as my disciple, you must put aside your father, your mother, your wife, your sisters, your brothers. It will seem as though you hate your own life. This is the price you'll pay to be considered one of my followers, right? So this is not really, that's not a really popular, if I'm a pastor, this is probably not what I would preach on, you know what I mean? But I kind of love this, you know what I mean? Because it's it has to cost. You know what I mean? It has to cost, right? Many times I come on here and I'm talking about how you gotta block people. If they're not going where you're going, you gotta leave them behind. And I stand on that, right? But there's another side to the equation that, if I'm being transparent, a lot of those people you had to leave behind were people you really loved. You know what I mean? And so those relationships, right? It's not just I'm blocking them because they don't want to come with me, right? Because every single one of those relationships had good parts to them, right? Every single one of those people I loved, you know what I mean? And really, if it wasn't for the fact that I know where I'm going and I know what I'm called to, I wouldn't have the courage to leave. And also too, sometimes when you leave relationships that you needed to leave, it's because too, you were enabling those people, right? Or that situation was kind of keeping you in a place where you needed to grow from, right? Right now, because my last 3 years were such a mess, the amount of cleaning up I have to do, sometimes you just want to go, Jesus, I thought you would fix all this. You know what I mean? I chose you would fix all this, but it don't work that way. You still have to get your hands dirty. You still got to go back and unpack and clean up every single thing that you were when you were in that numbing phase, right? When you're in that hurting phase, you still got to go back and you got to fix those things. And there's real consequences that come with fixing those things. But the way I look at it is no consequence lasts forever, right? No heartbreak lasts forever, right? No season of lack lasts forever. And many times that's where you pick up character. Many times that's where you pick up the lessons, so that when the abundance actually comes, you can stay humble. You know what I mean? When the things you're chasing, when you actually catch them, right, you can really appreciate them and enjoy them, right? But I think in this season right now, I feel I'm paying the price, right? I feel everything the enemy throws at me, I take it on the chin, right? And I'm saying to God, no matter how bad it gets, I'm not retreating. No matter how bad it gets, I'm 10 toes in this thing. No matter how lonely it gets, I'm 10 toes in this thing, right? I'm not going nowhere, right? I've made my mind is made up, right? And so I'll read that last part one time. It says, as massive crowds followed Jesus, he turned to them and said, like, imagine like a massive crowd, right? Like, this is the part where you probably give a message of like blessings, hope, right? Abundance, right? You tell them about their best life, right? You tell them that it's going to be okay, like what they're going through. But it says, as the massive crowds followed Jesus, he turned to them and said, when you follow me as my disciple, you must put aside your father, your mother, your wife, your sister, your brothers. It will even seem as though you hate your own life. And I think what he means by that is like, essentially, we are our habits, and our habits are who we are. Our behaviors are who we are. And like the people that that we've kind of done life with, right? They're part of what makes us us. So when you leave those things behind, right, like you're cutting off like large portions of yourself. People like Tuesday right now, usually I'd be with my ex on the couch watching Netflix, right? And it's like, those moments are gone now, right? And you miss those moments. So it can feel like, yo, like, did I make the right choice? But it's like, but that's what growth is. That's what shedding is. That's what like going to that next place is, right? It's like, you can't look at it as like, man, like, this is rough. You gotta look at it as, no, like I'm pursuing something more. And like the me that's gonna come from this aspect of the journey, right? It's what like the next batch, of people need. It's what like your future family needs. It's what like your friends need to see. Like, people need to see people actually change. People need to see people make a decision and stick to it. People need to see somebody like, break off vices and compromises and actually like keep the vices and compromises off. Like, I want to be like an example of like, yo, you can legit make a decision to like stop smoking and never go back to smoking again. Like the whole adage of like, of once an addict, always an addict. Cap, right? Now, are you gonna have like, temptations? Yeah, but usually those temptations come because you put yourself in a situation, you find yourself around people who are doing old things you used to do. But I can't really say that like I've like thought about, smoking a blunt. I just don't even think about it anymore. You know what I mean? Even the stuff the filthy things I used to watch online, I don't even like, there's not even a pull anymore to do that, because like my life is different. Like I've become a different person, right? But there are these things. It's usually things around relationships. It's usually things around like certain friends you left behind, right? It's the people, right? It's usually the people that you left that you're kind of like, man, like that's the part that's why I think like, if you read it again, right, as the massive crowds followed Jesus, he turned to them and said, when you follow me as my disciples, you must put aside your father, your mother, your wife, your sister, your brothers. It will even seem as though you hate your own life. And it's like, and it says, this is the price you'll pay to be considered one of my followers, right? And it's like, he didn't mention stuff. He didn't mention money. He didn't mention even dreams, right? He mentioned people. And then he mentioned the people that are with you from the beginning, or the people that you have the most intimate relationships with. He goes like, that's the ultimate sacrifice, right? Relationships. Because like at the end of the day, like as people, we know, right? Like, no matter how much money we get, we're not going to be happy if like we don't have good people around us. Like, we know, like, no matter how like amazing life gets, right? If you don't have people to enjoy it with, it doesn't matter. And many times the reason why we stay in old seasons is because we don't want to give up to the relationships. We just don't want to do that. But the thing is, like, you're the average of the 6 people you hang out with. Like, your money is the average. So if you have these big lofty dreams, right, and like maybe a lot of the people you're with, right, don't really see things the way you see it. It's not that you're better than them. It's not that you're more pure than them even, right? It's just your dreams are different. Right? It's just your dreams are just different, right? For whatever reason, there's this thing in you that's pursuing this stuff, not material stuff, but it's pursuing like this life, right? And it's not even a selfish thing. It's more like, yo, I think I'm gonna be just a much better person, right? If I just leave you guys, right, and go figure some things out on my own. and to reach where I'm trying to go. I don't even know, really what that is, right? Many times we put a dollar sign on it, but the reality is, like, we don't even know sometimes. We just know that, like, our season here is done and we're called to more, right? And many times, like, you got to do that alone. You know what I mean? You got to do that by yourself. Like, there's many times, like, you got to leave people behind, and like God knew, Jesus knew, like that's the hardest thing, right? Letting those relationships go. And two, like me, I don't leave people so that way. Like when I was very insecure, I used to would break up with women because I'm like, when I'm gone, then you'll appreciate me. Like, that's not why I left a lot of my association that time. I left my association this last time because I felt like I was enabling those people in very negative ways. And I felt like they were enabling me, not on purpose, right? But they were enabling me in also in ways that weren't beneficial to me, right? So like now you lay those things down, and then after like the first few weeks, right, if you're going through, maybe what I just went through, you're almost like, I'm good. But then like time goes on, right? And then you realize, oh man, like you start really remembering like the depth of those relationships, and you're like, man, like, did I make the right choice? And you did make the right choice, but it's supposed to feel that way, right? It's supposed to, right? It's supposed to hurt. It's supposed to feel like it's supposed to cost you, right? It's supposed to feel like, yo, God, like I'm really giving you like everything, right? And he tells you like that's the price. But God is love, right? God is goodness. He's 100% pure. He wants the best for you, right? He wants to bless you. So if he's making that demand on you, right, it's because he has like greater for you, right? It's because like he knows like you're gonna become a better human being. You're gonna have better character. So like you got more integrity. And right now, especially in today's day, people need to see somebody walk the straight and narrow. People need to see somebody that's vice free, and it's not gonna hurt like that forever. And the price isn't gonna feel so costly forever. At some point, you're gonna look up and you're gonna go, man, thank God I left those things behind. And those people too, after like they stop being upset, they're gonna be happy that you made the decision that you made, because they're gonna find their life is also better without you. Right, they're gonna find that like they have a better sense of self, right? Because maybe they couldn't have like pictured their life, without you on a Tuesday, you know what I mean? But it's like, yo, they got through it, and they're gonna find new self-love for themselves too. So like many times when we have to like make a decision to leave, like a lot of people don't understand, like we really don't want to, right? But like but somebody has to have the courage to go like, yo, our season is done. And I know it kind of feels like I'm doing something messed up and the way I'm doing it is wrong, but sometimes attachments can be so strong that you have to do it in a cold way. You know what I mean? Not even because you want to, because, if you don't, you're going to go back, and it's not beneficial for you and those people, right? And so that's kind of like the last thing I wanted to say, like anything worth having is going to come with a cost, and it's like, I don't know about y'all, but Jesus, like, he laid it all down for me. He literally died for me, right? Like all my vices are gone, and like when I had my vices, yeah, I had those relationships, but I couldn't treat those people right. And I'd rather them be like without me and me without them, to where like they can at least like live their life, without like, the negative things I used to do, and I can live my life vice free, and we can, hopefully we're all walking in integrity. I don't know what they're doing, but that's the last thing. Whatever you're gonna like pursue, whatever is worth having, right? There's gonna be a cost, right? It's gonna and it has to be costly. So don't be mad about that. Don't be mad at God. Don't be mad at people. Don't be mad at yourself. Understand, like, it's part of maturing. It's part of being a man, of being a human being, a woman, right? Like, you gotta make these tough decisions, and don't worry about your age, right? If you're truly healing, everything's gonna get restored back anyways, right? But if you're not truly healing, you just go back to doing your old vices because the pain got too much. And it's like, because the pain got too much, you went back to smoking, to like sleeping around, to like, drinking, right? Then, like you're going through that pain for no reason, ultimately, right? But me, I refuse to keep going through pain for no reason. I'd rather just heal on my own. I'd rather just like, just go through it, like pay the price. You know what I mean? And then knowing that not every season is going to always be like this, right? And you can wake up next week and your life be totally different. So Johnny here, 80%. We out. Love you, okay?